And that takes us into patch 11.24. Let's go ahead and jump in. First up, Caitlyn, her headshot resets have been partially restored, so they're not the same way that they functioned previously with the like animation canceling and all that stuff. But headshots do come out slightly faster than regular auto attacks do if they are procced by her traps or her E.
Yeah, I think it's like a good quality of life change.
Yeah, a good little compensation for all those like
for the inadvertent nerf from a bug fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you see the bugs that they introduced before they removed them though?
No.
Where, her headshot. This is like the day that they like patched her. So they remove all the animation cancels. Fusion Saber or whatever the fuck his account name is, like Caitlyn guy, put out the video where it's like, yeah, there's no Caitlyn things left, whatever, right? And then he like a couple hours later puts out a video where he found out that while Caitlyn's headshot is flying through the air, every auto can be a headshot.
Weird.
So he had a build where you have to have like at least 2.0 attack speed, but he'd have like a crazy amount of attack speed, have runons, and he could like headshot like 7 characters at the same time.
Huh. That's crazy.
Nice.
But they obviously patched it. But it's just funny. Like they try to remove bugs and they just get like punished by introducing many more. But
I mean, that's just like
any code, man.
That's just the life of any like computer like developer, right? Like software developer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Awesome.
On from Caitlyn, we've got Camille. W damage is increased. Her E cooldown is increased late. So
W damage is decreased.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So just straight nerfs.
Yep. Good.
Yeah. 12 seconds is still pretty low for hookshot, especially with how accessible haste is, but getting there.
I'm telling you, this ability could be double the cooldown. It'd still be good, but we're getting there. That's my 2023 dream. Camille's hookshot is 28-second cooldown.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I think
it's possible. I think it'd have to be like a long cooldown, but if you use it aggressively, like if you hit an enemy, it would like reduce it by half. But using it like defensively would be like a 30-second cooldown or whatever. That's my
I'm more okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with them doing like that for a lot more things. Like the same with like Yonel, I think would be another good example where it's like if you hit a champion with it, reduce the cooldown. If you use it to run away, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't get to use it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Characters don't have like they don't release characters with long cooldowns anymore. I feel like I'm trying to think of like the longest cooldown basic ability.
I mean, Akshan's abilities once again they reset though, but like his hook shot's like pretty long, but it does reset on kill. I guess is the main thing. So yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, we got Ivern up next.
Yeah.
So they have increased the experience and gold you get from Krugs because they were like super out of line with the actual value of Krugs.
Yeah, he was getting the trade-off is like, oh, okay, Ivern doesn't have to kill the small Krugs, but he was getting like, I don't know, like 26% of the total camp's value because a lot of the gold is locked behind the smaller Krugs. I think the XP was still behind the larger one. But yeah, Ivern was getting shafted by taking Krugs. So
yeah.
Cool. We have a quick little thing for Kale. This applies to a couple other champions on the list as well. Kale's passive wave distance now scales with bonus attack range rather than it just being a flat range.
Oh.
So we'll see that. We'll see that with Twitch and Ergot, I believe, as well. I think those are the only changes that those characters have.
That's cool.
So yeah, it means that like Kale's waves with lethal tempo's bonus range were not going as far as the auto attack was traveling.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Good. Yeah, good little change.
Yeah,
and definitely something they didn't consider.
Yeah, Kled's getting some minor changes. Kled and Scarl's health calculation is changed. W cooldown is reduced, and the E cooldown is reduced, and his AD ratio is increased. So overall, these are like aiming to be buffs for Kled. I think Kled's he's such a weird character where he kind of like smashes people who don't know how to play versus Kled, but then he kind of just should lose most matchups based on his like actual character and design. I think.
So I actually think this is a very, very large nerf. to Kled, and maybe an unintentional one.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how his build changes. So currently, before these changes go live, Kled's HP counts as his health, and Skarl's HP counts as bonus health. So he just gets like a crazy synergy with items that are influenced by bonus HP, like Titanic Hydra. The damage is based on bonus HP. Sunfire, the same thing. So he kind of gets like shafted now because those are his two core items on the current patch. Whereas going forward, all of his health is going to be base health, and items that, you know, he'll function like every other character, where items that he purchases go to Skarl's health, but it will count as bonus health for.
So yeah, they've changed it just so that the base of Skarl is considered base health, and so right, like when you buy health, it applies to both. But now it's like normal, where when you buy health, that's bonus. Your base health is base health. But because prior every amount of health that was coming from Skarl was bonus health, he did have nutty interactions with like Titanic because he just got like the extra free 1,000 bonus health.
So I was going to ask. Sorry. Is there any items that go with base health instead of maximum health that would benefit from this though? Like obviously the obvious ones are nerfs, right? Like Titanic is a nerf because that's based on bonus.
Yeah, it's based on bonus health. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but is there any ones that are based on base health though? I guess
I'm not sure if there are any based on base health. I imagine those items.
I was about to say Sheen.
Bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, this is the little caveat is that they're only bad. They're only like giga nerfs if the character doesn't adapt the build. You know, if you're building the same things, it's going to be worse than before. But if you build different items, it's going to be probably better. I mean, the E damage is a little bit higher, not very much, but I don't think these are just regular changes. I think this should be classified as a nerf.
I also think so outside of items that interact with your base health, I mean, you have to also take in consideration enemy items and abilities that interact with total health, max health, and bonus health, right? Because there are, I'm pretty sure there are some damage things that are calculated based off of like bonus health, right?
I don't know if it's bonus health.
Or is it just total or current?
I think it's just total, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so we were talking about it in the Discord, where Kled is a champion that gets absolutely shafted by executes because he does have such a large like HP pool, where executes will also count Skarl's health in that too. So even when he's dismounted, he still gets penalized by Skarl's like total HP pool.
It's okay though, because he can just cancel that ability by auto attacking and going untargetable when he remounts.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, but either way, like a very frustrating interaction for Kled. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this character, you know, changes. I think Aiden was spot on, where like if you don't know how to play him, he will 1v9. If you don't know how to play against him, he will 1v9. But if you do, he kind of just like is there.
Yeah, cool, good change.
Awesome. Samira is up next. I'm sorry, Twitch is up next, and this is what we talked about before, where the ultimate distance will now scale with bonus attack range.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Samira are no longer costs mana. Is free.
Ooh.
No cooldown. No mana cost. Just make it all.
So it doesn't have a mana cost already at rank 16. So this does not very much. I don't think it's gonna make her like super viable, but it's nice. It's a nice little change.
There's two ways to think about this, right? One, in the fact that guess what, her rank 1 ult is terrible. Her rank 1 ult is like it's awful,
one of the
right?
worst abilities in the game.
Yeah, it's 5 damage a second plus like her AD or whatever. It's like you might as well be auto attacking unless there's multiple enemies that you're inside of. But then you're positioning like shit to use your ultimate. But it will be a buff, because the best way to think about something like this is, will there be times at level 6 where she wouldn't have enough mana at ult? Yes, right.
Yeah.
That will be a buff for those scenarios. So like it is a buff. It's definitely not a huge buff by any means. But it's not definitely not a nerf or anything. Like it still will be
it's
useful.
a buff for sure. I just don't think
Like-
it's a very big one.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Her Q does less damage than her auto attacks early game.
Yeah.
Feels bad. Awesome.
We got Ergot, passive and W attacks scale with bonus attack range. So again, just adding these little quality of life things so that when your attack range goes up, your things that interact with attack range also go up.
Yeah, it means Ergot can't proc a shotgun, and the shotgun blast doesn't exceed the range of his auto attack, or it isn't smaller than the range of his auto attack. So
Yeah, and then that would feel really like shitty.
yeah.
Also,
We'll
just
move
to
into
quickly
Sorry,
jump
go
in really quick. We had someone in chat just quickly mention the Kled thing. The only interaction they could think of was Lee Sin. If Lee Sin kicks Kled now, the enemies who get Kled kicked into them will take less damage because his kick's based on the character's bonus HP, but now Kled doesn't have as much bonus HP because Skarl's HP is base HP, so they won't take as much damage as old Kled.
Buff, slap your mom.
Interesting.
Lee
So
Sin, hard counter.
big buffs versus Lee Sin this patch as Kled. So just be aware. But that is like a funny interaction. Just will actually be a pretty big difference.
Interesting.
But only in the one scenario, but it's interesting.
Okay. Awesome. We'll go into items. Archangel staff has
Crazy.
Wow.
It's the biggest buff of the patch.
400 combined cost less. I don't think it was a super great item before.
Yeah, it was bad.
But wow, that's a lot.
That's the biggest like item gold change we've ever seen, I think. That being said, it is preseason, so I'm glad they're making big changes this right now. It does scare me that like I would say the only character that's currently good with Archangels is Cassidy, but he's really good with it. So this might lead to a Cassidy nerf, but this is good for the item overall, I think.
And so they changed it to bonus mana into ability haste, not AP, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could see some other characters utilizing this really well, but 400 is wild. We've never seen anything close to that, and especially not without an accompanying like dip in stats.
Yeah.
Because we've seen like this item costs 300 less, but we've also taken away like 15 AD or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's Archangels. Up next, we got Axiom Arc. The ultimate cooldown reduction on takedown is going down from 25. From 25 down to 20.
I feel like cooldown reduction items that function like this, where it's like it's not it doesn't function like traditional cooldown, but it's based on it's like a huge amount based on doing something is terrible for the game. I think it's always been bad. I mean, we saw it was Spear of Shojin.
With Spear of Shojin like 3 separate times.
Yeah, and then it got called something else and it was still broken. Like,
I guess my only like counter argument to that is I think an item like this can be like fine, right? It just can't work in the like. This would be fine if it had a like 10-second cooldown on its active even, or it's like a passive even.
Yeah,
right? It's the issue that we're seeing with it is like a character like Nocturne goes in, hits every single character, or even honest to God, if he just kills one character, he gets so much back, but like he kills 2 and half his ult's back, right? That's like the biggest issue. If there was a 10-second cooldown on it, meaning you're probably not getting 3 in a team fight, you're probably only getting like max of 2 procs of this in a team fight, then it would be fine. Or you just make it a bigger amount and make it current, like ultimate cooldown. That's the other way.
I was gonna say like there's a
solving.
lot of ways to go about it. You could make it current cooldowns so you don't get it all the way back. You could lock it out so you can't proc it twice in a window. And then the other thing, which I think has always been an issue, is that these items are too good on their own.
Yeah.
With the stats they give, right? Like the worst we saw was Serpent's Fang, where like you were building Serpent's Fang against teams with 0 shield.
Yeah.
Like because it's just that stat efficient. When you have particular like unique items that do one thing, like I would rather see them almost just like take away pretty much all the stats, like have it give dog shit stats, let it have this ridiculous active, and then like you have to make that call.
Yeah. No, I agree. Only other thing to mention on Axiom Arc, which I think do this. Hey, the episode will be up tonight. Hopefully, you can listen to it and do it before the patch tomorrow. Actually, it'll still be good. Is ARAM build this item on literally every single character on ARAM.
Oh, true.
Because it first of all, if your character uses lethality, awesome. This you just will have your ultimate up every single fight. And if your character doesn't, Melfights are building this item on ARAM. Because you dump 3,000 gold into something that you don't really need, or 2,500 or whatever the fuck it is, for like a Melfight, but your Melfight ult is up literally all the time now.
Interesting. That's
so
really
I want to play a game where like I'm playing like Karthus or something, and I build Axiom Arc just so my ultimate's up all the time.
we should do that.
It's fun.
It also makes me wonder if they have any thoughts of implementing something like this for AP characters or tanks. I don't think they will, and I don't think they should, because there's a lot more characters who would be really problematic with this, where it's like, it's a pain when Nocturne can do it, but it'd be way more of a problem if Malphite or like Malzahar could do it, where it's like, by the time the duration of your ulti is done suppressing them, you've got half the cooldown back.
Yeah.
Like, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
Dang. Cosmic Drive is next. Ability power is reduced, health is reduced, and the movement speed bonus is reduced as well.
Movement speed's OP.
Yeah, nerfs for Cosmic Drive, which turned out to be broken.
Crown of the Shattered Queen is getting 10 AP removed from it. I think it's fine. Like, this is like fine to nerf it. It's definitely like being abused on way too many characters right now. Once again, I think everyone and their mother called the fact that this item wasn't just going to be built on artillery mages. The tanky mage item isn't going to be built on artillery mages. What a surprise. It's mostly built on Kassadin right now. That's like Kassadin
and Victor. It's turning Victor into like one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah, because you just get to walk in and do your combo like with the bonus damage, and then you get to walk out because they can't kill you in the time that they usually need to. It's crazy. So next,
Evan Shroud, pretty sad about this one. The bonus damage is reduced and the duration is reduced as well.
Are you telling me, Nick, that making it so your team does 12% bonus damage to everyone around you for 5 seconds is OP? What are the chances this gets nerfed down to?
Too strong?
Is it going to be 7 for 3 next patch? Is that our guess? 7 for 3 seconds?
No,
5 for 3 seconds.
I'm gonna guess the bonus damage doesn't change, but the stats might.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a good way of doing it. Yeah.
I don't even know if this like, it's hard to quantify like how much better this was than Locket, just because I'm sure a lot of people were fucking tired of building Locket.
Yeah.
And they serve two different purposes. Like, one is protection of your allies, and one is, a weakening of your enemies. Like, I don't know. It's hard to compare the two, but I'm sure
that's kind of beta mindset, Nick. The best way to protect my allies is to kill the enemies.
I mean, yeah, sure, definitely, but it's like I don't know.
How is your Kassadin going to kill my AD carry if he's already dead, Nick?
Definitely too strong. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was nuts. And I think that I could see this being adjusted again, where I think one way they could go about it would be like a duration thing, where it's like you have to stay in combat, and maybe it goes from like 5 up to 10 or 12 or something. But yeah, like the ease at which you could proc it, and then just that much damage is crazy. It was too much. Yeah. And then last item change here for Frostfire Gauntlet. The field damage is going down, and
they're smoking reefer with this change, by the way.
Wait, are they taking away the health ratio entirely?
So hear me out. I think they're not. I think they just forgot to write it in there.
I do think as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think there's a world in which Riot, like, they write that it's doing too much damage, which it does comparable damage to Sunfire. It definitely does less than Sunfire. It is 400 gold less. I understand that. But why not fucking buff Sunfire and Chemtank? Why are they nerfing Frostfire? Frostfire is not OP. No one goes, oh my god, fucking Frostfire. Holy shit, fuck that item. Zero people have ever done that.
Is Chemtank the worst? Like, I'm not even gonna say Mythic. Is Chemtank the worst item in the game?
Probably they like remember when it was the best item in the game though.
Yeah,
for like 3 patches.
it spent a lot of time like at the top, but holy fuck, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's awful.
I don't
but
think I've
either way,
seen it in the past like 300 games I've played.
yeah, this
Yeah.
item's
Also-
fucking awful now. Like
So
Frostfire is
I-
actually so bad.
Reading the wording, I think they might have removed the health scaling. It says
Yeah,
we're bringing down its damage,
Yeah.
including the health scaling.
I mean, like in theory, like it's not a lot. Like you look at 0.5%, you're like, holy fuck, that's like bad for tanks. But if a tank has 3,000 HP, that's 15 damage.
Yeah,
So it's
15
30
damage every like 2 seconds.
Yeah, which I understand isn't like a lot overall, but like I don't think anyone's ever complained about Frostfire's damage ever. Like
I think people have complained
Yeah.
about Sunfire's damage, but not Frostfire.
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, and Sunfire can do a lot of damage, and especially like the earlier iterations of it. But yeah, Aiden,
Stop.
I'm with you. I'm with you that like Frostfire was not too strong, and if anything, if it seemed too good comparatively, like buff the other ones.
Or make the
Hell,
Frostfire more expensive. That's like another option. It
Yeah.
shouldn't
Or
be 400 gold cheaper than
change-
Sunfire.
Change the tank item to a tank item. Like
Yeah.
instead of it doing extra damage, hey, maybe champions in the frozen field do less damage to you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
Give it some
yeah.
Evan Shroud fucking vibes, or like Frost. What's the rune called? The freezy one.
glacial
Glacial.
augment?
That's yeah. Make it like kind of glacial adjacent. So
Yeah, I mean, something instead of like, hey, this one does damage. This one does damage in AOE. Like,
yeah, it's so weird. But
no
anyways,
one-
this
no
is a
one's
weird
playing tanks
change.
to do damage.
I just have never seen
Reduce
someone
the
complain
cost
about.
of Chem Tank by 400 like you did with fucking Seraphs.
Yeah, it's so weird, man.
Still wouldn't be purchased.
Yeah,
At a certain point, it would be.
I
200
don't know.
200 gold for fucking chem tank. I'll
Yeah.
buy
Yeah,
it.
but then you're locked into chem tank.
You go into lane
Yeah,
with
but then
chem
you get
tank.
your mythic bonus going, baby.
Nick, at some point you sell your chem tank. That's the craziest part.
That's what I'm saying. You buy it to sell it later. Like,
you,
that's-
you buy it so that you can have that and your predator boots at like 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you go.
We'll talk
everyone
about
starts
Predator in
with
a
the chem
minute.
tank and then you get to sell it.
Yeah.
We'll run
yeah,
through runes really quickly. Conqueror is getting a buff. The duration is increased, and the adaptive force is slightly increased. Glacial augment, the slow is decreased by the base, and it will be increased from scaling from AP, bonus AD, and heal and shield power. So kind of nerfing it for the tanks who took it.
Question on Conqueror.
Oh, sure.
Real quick before we move on. Do the stacks drop off one at a time, or do they all drop?
I believe they all
drop off. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like that would be a better way than extending the timer period. Would be to
Probably.
go back to the you just start dropping like one stack. Because
Probably.
right, like the maximum number of stacks now is
Tw-
less.
It's 12.
Is 12?
But you
Yeah,
double
12
stack it on
stacks.
melees.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's 6 on melees.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a way that they could go with it.
I agree.
Lethal tempo, it will be a little bit worse for melee attack speed users, better for ranged attack speed users, and you get a little bit less range, less bonus range at max stacks. That's kind of wild.
Can we talk about Predator really quick?
Yeah, Predator.
So they're nerfing Predator because Predator is OP and just take on every single character in the fucking game who's a jungler and a mid laner. So they're nerfing the movement speed by 15% and nerfing the ramp up time by 0.5 seconds. Or sorry, they're increasing the ramp up time. Yeah. Am I crazy, or is the real issue with this item the fact that it lasts for 10 seconds?
I think the real issue is the cooldown. It's
Yeah,
like it's like like a 70-second cooldown.
It's
Like
it's
reduced by-
90 scaling down to 60, and it's reduced by
Item haste, yeah.
item haste. So like you play like Blitzcrank and it's on like a 30-second cooldown and it's active for 10 seconds. Like the fact that I don't understand range of Predator. I'm too dumb to hover it whenever I go to use it or whatever. But I just activate it when I'm like by my inhibitor, and by the time I get to lane, it's still active and now I'm moving
Yeah.
quick. Like it's
Yep.
so hard to fuck
It's
up.
wild. I think that this could, like, they should probably look at reworking how it works. So I think
it's
that
weird.
if they wanted to shorten the duration, then they could, obviously make other adjustments. But the amount of uptime you get on it, and like it just feels it's one of those that just feels really, really bad to play against.
Yeah.
Where I've had it so many times mid, where like I force my opponent out of lane. I'm pushing their tower, and they start their teleport, and I start running. But it doesn't matter because when they finish their TP, they have the home guard
Yeah.
speed. They're gonna pop Predator, and there's nothing I can do, even if I have flash up. Like they're
Yeah.
just gonna run me down.
It
It's
is
crazy.
funny. We like Riot obviously identifies that movement speed is a problem when they like gutted Dead Man's Plate, Chem
Mhm.
Tank, things like that. And now we're just back with with a different move speed
Yeah.
component.
Yeah, just a couple
Yeah,
different
and
moves.
I mean, one thing they could do with it is like shift it more to damage. Like,
I think that's a bad idea. I think like at that point you're making a choice between like, okay, what's the highest damage in this tree?
mhm.
Like it doesn't I'm not really making the choice, you know?
Yeah. So, and again, I don't think that that's probably the way to go with it because, like, yeah, what your options are: Dark Harvest, Hail of Blades, and Electrocute.
Electrocute, yeah.
So it's like pick the one that does the most damage, which
Hmm.
is kind of that tree already. But if they want to give it like a different utility one in Predator, there are other ways you could go about it. Which I think one could be like to just give it a passive where it's like, okay, hey, you can activate it, but also like your Predator boots maybe give you some out of combat movement speed
Mhm.
Yeah.
or something, or like if you trigger Predator and kill the person, now you have like out of combat movement speed because you did the Predator thing, right? Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
you claimed your prey. Here's your bonus move speed for always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Sweet.
Dragons.
Yeah, we get into the dragons. So the all dragon terrains have returned to the normal selection rate, so you won't get Chemtech, Hextech every single game now. Um, I feel like it was even more than double. I feel like I never got any of the other ones.
Was it only
Um,
double? I thought it was more than double when they like
yeah,
implemented it.
it said the temporarily doubled selection rates, but I feel like I never saw any of the other ones. Like it was
Hmm.
100%.
I thought it was like more than double, but maybe it
It
wasn't.
for Ultimate Spellbook, and it wasn't for other modes because that's the only one I've played. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Chemtech, which has proven to be the single best buff you can receive in a game. Um, they're buffing the standard Drake, so not the soul version, and then they're nerfing the soul version a little bit. You get a little bit more bonus damage, all else unchanged. You revive and you stay alive for 1 second less, and you deal 7% less damage than previously. And it'll now show a zombie state indicator on their health bar when they're affected by it. But why does this not have a cooldown? There's no cooldown for this at all. So every time you die after Chemtech Soul, you get it,
Mhm.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
very hard to win versus. Like I know like obviously all souls are very hard to win versus. If you look at League Graphs, by the way, which is my
yeah,
favorite site to look at like random rank, like they have just like stats for literally everything, right?
Yeah, just
mhm,
tons of aggregated data about the game.
Yeah, which no other stats have. So the lowest dragon soul win rate, this is for Plat Plus in all regions, by the way, is
for
Infernal
Chemtech.
Soul for
Oh, okay, never mind.
for the Soul of the Souls, which is
Yeah,
Infernal at 87%, which obviously is very high, right? You go 80%,
yeah,
87% of the time the team with the soul wins the game, right? So and I understand this is only a 4% difference, but Chemtech being at 91.5% is kind of
yeah,
crazy. Like,
yeah. 92%. That's insane.
but either way, like, yeah, I do agree. It's just like very hard to beat because like even if you like win a team fight, they're probably gonna revive and kill a couple of you, or at least slow down pushes or some anything,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. That's kind of the hard thing, and it's every single time. It's not even that there's like a window where you can play against it. You know, okay, well, this is it. Like we just lose now. We have to win 2 team fights essentially.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Hextech Drake got a small buff where you get 6 ability haste and 6 attack speed per stack, up from 5. It was pretty just okay. But yeah, that is it for I think the big changes. We've got some new ultimates from Ultimate Spellbook and a couple that have been removed, as well as a little bit of system changes. Oh, Ultimate Spellbook now has objective bounties. Pog.
Hog.
We've got a little bit of ARAM balance going on. Eden, you want to talk about your favorite one?
It's just poor Ziggs, man. He's minus 20% damage now on here.
Minus 20% damage.
Yeah,
plus
I was
18.
looking through.
Plus 18.
But don't
Jesus.
worry. Aiden, when you run that 1v1 tournament, just remember, guys, Tryndamere plus 10% damage dealt, minus 15% damage taken, plus 20% healing.
Yeah, like these change obviously for like 5v5 ARMs. It makes sense that you
Yeah.
probably need more healing on a couple of these characters, which makes sense. Like I think it's good that Renekton gets now extra healing. That's a good way of buffing that character, right? But yeah, for when you're doing 1v1s and 2v2s, turns out this is just broken. So
Yeah.
if we ever
It's,
run another one, play Tryndamere. No one played
wild.
Tryndamere.
Maybe you could do some global bans for
I think it's fun,
stuff.
especially when it's blind pick, because then you can both play it as long as it's not boring.
Mhm.
The only character I banned for the 2v2 was
Nasus,
Nasus. And it's not, I think Trind's better than Nasus in the 2v2 ARM thing. It's just that Nasus is boring as fuck to watch. Holy shit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, watching one person, maybe two farm up.
He
stuff.
just stacks until like he wins the game. Like
yeah,
you get
sounds
24 if you kill a caddy.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to just remove some of these characters.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Or I know it'll never happen, but like, what if in custom games you could like have a slider to turn off ARAM balance changes?
That'd be pretty nice. I mean,
That would
there
be-
should just be a lot of like options for custom games to
Yeah.
I know.
revive that scene. But
We don't get custom games.
yeah,
Want to talk about the new skins? The new skin
yeah,
line is
lots of
called
bug
Debonair.
fixes. Debonair Brand, Zed, Draven, Leona, Master Yi, Malzahar, LeBlanc, and there's a Brand Prestige edition.
So I know people are upset about the skins, right? Because they thought Debonair would be cooler, and I agree. I think Debonair could be cooler. I still am of the mindset of like it's always funny because the splash arts you never know what characters they are. I thought Debonair Brand was Twisted Fate forever because he's holding money and it's like flying away. I thought those were like his cards or whatever.
Yeah.
The Yi, I had no idea who it was because he looks like he could be Kane. Whatever. Who really cares? Malzahar could be literally any edgy e-boy character. My biggest issue with these is they made chromas for them. In my opinion, I like Riot's art team. I think they do an awesome job with almost everything. I think the only reason this skin line works is because green and white looks cool together. That's the only reason the skin line works. And turns out when you make chromas, you can't use green and white anymore. And I think there's not a single chroma out of all the skins that looks better than the base because green and white just looks cool. And overall, they're not that great of skins.
Yeah.
And I love most
when I
skins.
look at all of these splashes together, I'm getting one particular vibe really strong, which is just like it feels like a company trying to like cash in on the aesthetic of the Matrix and and just getting it like not quite right.
It was proposed as a like high fashion city sort of thing, like high fashion crime city, like mixed together.
Yeah,
but it doesn't appear to be the case. It kind of seems a little like demonic with snakes.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely not my favorite, especially the chromas. I think the chromas are literally there because they need to make chromas because it's like it makes the money.
I think the Leona one looks cool. The shield looks cool as fuck on that.
But look at the chromas for it.
I mean, no, I'm not defending the chromas.
Yeah, it's just like obviously like the skin looks good because green and white looks fucking sick together. But like,
I like the bottom right one. What is that? Like the white chroma, I guess.
Yeah, it's like white and blue.
But that's it.
It's just funny.
There's a lot of Ariversary chromas. What is this about?
Oh, they talked about it up here. Happy Ariversary. Dynasty Ari Splash Art has a new look to celebrate your 10th Ariversary. Is this Ari's 10th anniversary?
But this has never existed for any other character in the game.
Yeah, so but it's Ari, Nick. It sells skins and KDA.
So did they added an Ariversary chroma for every single one of her skins? Is that what I'm seeing?
It looks like it.
What the fuck? Dude, Ari mains already have every chroma, so now they just have to buy more. They kind of look good though. I like the chromas actually.
Yeah, I mean, they look really good. It's just why? Like it's just weird to highlight a character's like 10th anniversary when there's been no other highlight of any other character's anniversary.
The only other one that obviously was Annie, right? They had Anniversary for like their 10th year. But that was their
league's
10th year, right? And he was a original character, so it was her 10th year. But I agree, it's weird. But they look cool.
Strange. I mean,
I think
they
it's
look
just
great.
because Ari has so much like pull
Money to be made
in terms of the merch and all of like the art, and like Ari is one of the very much like synonymous. Even if you don't know League of Legends, you've probably seen Ari.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that's the patch.